Hello everyone. So today I thought I should cover non-functional requirements. Okay, and I'm gonna use JMeter to execute that. So I could have used Load Runner, but then JMeter is an open source, and I was like, yay! All right. So we use JMeter, for load testing, for analyzing and measuring performance to ensure a good user experience. Okay, because if the web it's fast, it's error free, then it's good user experience. Okay, so here it's just a simple test plan. It allows you to add variables, what you hold, what you're gonna reference or use later. I'll be using this website, the Future Learn website, and I'm not going to create a lot of users because I don't want them to block me from their website, and so I don't have authorization to use their website. So I'm just gonna use 2 users. So I'm just gonna enter my variable here. Your test plan is more like, in order for you to understand elements or concepts, you have to compare them to other things. Okay, and your test plan is basically more like your test suite. Okay, inside a test suite you have a thread group, which is your test cases. Inside your test cases you have certain steps that you follow, certain steps, execution steps that you follow, and whatnot. Okay, so I'm just gonna this is your load, the number of users. You can add 10,000, 200,000 users, and you have to also add the time that the system will use to load those users. Okay, and the loop count as well. If they're on the registration, how many times you want them to navigate certain pages, to add items to cart, to purchase, and all that. Okay, so this is basically your config. You can add your cache, you can add your cookies, so they clear. You can also use this as for your sampler. Okay, if you're having many samplers, you can always use the request defaults to reference your variables as well. Okay, so here I'm just going to use the website variable, and I'm just going to add it there, and I'm going to add an HTTP request. Okay, I'm going to request a web page from a server. I'm gonna wait for the response, and my JMeter is gonna pass that response. Okay, so that's why we use samplers. So I'm gonna just add 3 for now. Just gonna be my home page, and I'm also going to use the courses page just to see the response time there under the load. And I'm just going to add it on the path. I'm not going to add anything on the server name because it's already in my request defaults. Okay, so instead of IP7ing, I'm just going to add the path. And for this one, I'm going to use the sign in. Okay, so I'm just going to copy that path, and I'm going to paste it on the sign in path so it knows where to go. Okay, let me just rename this one to sign in. Okay, and another thing that you can add is your timer or your asset. Okay, so let me start with my duration assertion. So basically I have to test the expected against the actual. Okay, so I'm just gonna put 1 second there. So if my page is not loading within 1 second, give me an error, throw an error. Okay, we have standards that the site should follow. We have requirements that the site should meet, and that's where you specify them in your sessions. Okay, and the timer is my preprocessor. Okay, my precondition. So before you load all the users, just make sure before you send requests to the server, just make sure there's a timer in between the requests. Okay, that's what I'm saying. All right, so my listener is where you view all the reporting. All right, so there's a lot of ways you can view reporting. You can use the tree, you can use the table, you can use the graphs. It's a lot of ways really. So I'm just gonna quickly run this and show you what it does under 2 users. Okay, So it's loading. So you see now it failed. When it's red, it fails. When it's green, it passes. That is why you always have to run your tests. Under you have to kind of like create a loop with more users as well, so that it go, because you get different results based on different factors. Okay, it could be that your JMeter is configured this way, your internet is configured that way, the server is configured this way, and different factors involved. That is why when you get this result, you have to run it again and again, and you have to make sure that you increase the number of loops. Okay, if you hit the home page, hit it the first time, second time, third time, fourth time, sixth time, 10th time, because you're going to get different results. Okay, so if we run this one, the home page passed, it failed, it passed, it failed. Okay, and then you take that, and obviously it failed because so this one passed at 762. My session is 1,000 seconds. So you see now with the sessions you can determine what passes, what fails. Okay, and basically that's how you use your decision tables. Not necessarily decision tables, but your sessions and your listeners. Okay, so that's the number of users, which is 2 users, and 2 users are executing. Let's see, the ramp up time is 1, the loop count is 2. So they're going onto the home page, they're gonna navigate the home page twice, they're gonna navigate the view courses twice, sign in twice, and it's going to give us results based on that. Okay, so it's very important that you use the number of users a lot of times, probably not necessarily 2, 3, but probably you can have 20 users when you start, so that you can see the different results that you get. Okay, so because only five users will not give you accurate results because of those factors that I just told you about, but rather load 100 users, and from 100 users you'll take the response time and you'll find the average, and the average will give you what your system is actually giving in terms of the response. Okay, so I hope I'm clear on that. So recap: your thread plan is your test suite, your thread group is your test case, and your thread is your users. Okay, and this is basically how you create your load, and how you actually test your Okay, let me quickly show you how to use logic controllers. Okay, so logic controllers are very important in that they allow you to structure your controllers, your recording transaction controllers properly, so you know what you are executing first, last. You're able to use your if loop controllers, while controllers, and it's very, very convenient. Okay, it's very quick when you're executing, and it gives you that structure that you need. Okay, so I'm just going to add another I'm gonna add a script controller. So with the script controller, we're able to set up a port, and we also have to, it's more manual work, but you have to kind of like if you want to use this method, you can go through it. Have to go to your options and configure your proxy. Make sure that the proxy matches the proxy in your the port matches the port in your JMeter platform. Okay, and you should also add the certificate for JMeter. JMeter usually generates a certificate for you when you run your samplers or your tests, and it puts that in your bin, and you'll have to go into your browser and add the certificate as well. We also have target controllers. After you've set your home page, login page, sign up page, register page, you have to set the target controller of what you are executing first. Okay, or what you are running at that particular moment. You can also add your session. So it's more manual in that you have to right click, add everything there. Instead of going through all that, you can use the place meter. Okay, place meter does all the recording work for you. Okay, so all you have to do is launch it. Okay, so I'm just gonna run the home page, just quickly show you how it works. The home page is running under, okay, let me see, it's under test. I'll just rename that to home page. So it's going to send a request to the server. Once the response comes, it's going to show you. Let me just rename this to home page. I'm gonna add another step. I'm gonna say view courses. Okay, then I'm going to send my request. JMeter is gonna send my request to the server. I'm just gonna say add step. I'm gonna click on view courses. Okay, then once my response comes back, I'm going to add another step. Okay, so this is how you use place meter. So it's you can use it as a webmaster, web administrator, when you're getting a lot of calls from clients. Your website is very slow today, I can't do anything, it's been loading for forever. You know how clients can be sometimes. So you can just use those plugins to just check the website. After you've gotten authorization from your IT manager, your test manager, you can ask them, can I use plugins? So when clients log in issues, I can actually test. And when you create a ticket to your developers, you actually have all the information and the load, the response time, the load that you tested and all. So it's very, very convenient. Okay. So here we are. I'm just gonna do the last one, which is register. Okay. So I'm just gonna do the register and it's done. I'm gonna save. Okay, so I'm just gonna save it as the JMX or in the JMX format, and I'm gonna save it to my desktop, my download folder. I'm just gonna quickly show you now. Just click on the save in that format. Okay, select the domains to include and save. All right, so it's exporting. So after it's done exporting, you can just import it into your GUI. All right, your JMeter GUI. Then open containing folder. All right, so let me go to my JMeter. Okay, so I'm just going to import it. All right, so open this project. No, don't save. Okay, so now it adds the config as well. Okay, it adds the whole structure, or like that the template that you get when you start your project. It adds everything in that structured way. Everything is easy to view and manageable. Okay, then when you go to your thread group, this is what it has. It has it adds your timer as well between the requests to the server. There's the timer over there, and yeah, it practically adds all that. So one other thing that you can add that's missing is your listeners. You can also add your sessions to start validating the responses. Okay, so now I'm just gonna add my listener in table view or in tree view, either way. So after you've added your listeners, you can now run the entire application. So it's very important to use plugins. See now, they cut off the extra time that you are going to use when recording from JMeter, and the configuration as well with your port. So just remember that you still need your test plan, you still need your test data, you still need to identify what modules you're going to test, the requirements. You still need to to get all the logs from production, so you see how many users work on your website, on your application, which categories they go to the most, if it's an e-commerce, what items do they buy most, and you can create your test data or test plan from the production logs. Okay, so this is it for me. Please don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel, and on the next tutorial I'll be